Okay, welcome back. Now that you have Xcode downloaded and installed on your computer, it's time to do a very quick tour of the interface. We're not going to look at every single detail. That would actually probably take hours. It's going to give you very broad strokes of what's important, and you'll learn more about it as we go through the course. First thing, if you haven't opened Xcode already, go ahead and click on the icon. And go ahead and hit this Create New Xcode Project here on the left-hand side. Once that happens, go ahead and choose the Single View application. Click Next, and here you're prompted to name your file. I'm going to call it Walkthrough. You can call it anything you want, though. We will be deleting it. Some of this other stuff you'll need to worry about in the future, but now, since we're only doing a quick walkthrough, you don't. So go ahead and click Next. You'll be prompted to save it somewhere. I'll save mine on the desktop. Okay, once your app opens up, let's just go to the viewcontroller.swift file. And this is where our tour will begin. Again, very quickly. It's only a couple minutes here, but it's just worth noting since you're new to this. Three main sections you can see on the screen right away include this left-hand side, which is basically a place where all your files for your project will be. Very small right now, but trust me, in the future you're going to have many more files depending on your project. You'll have coding files, you'll have image files, you have sound files, probably many more folders, but this is the hierarchy of the entire project. As you can see here, these are where all the files are listed, including this main storyboard here, which is a little bit of a kind of an interface where you can start to build out apps by dragging and dropping objects into this view controller item here. We'll talk more about that in future lectures. But as for the coding files, the .swift files, you'll see all of the code is in this big, large center section. That's where you're going to be doing most of your work. Over on the right-hand side is an area where there will be many menus where you can tweak and change various aspects of items and objects within your app. And trust me, you will learn more about that later. Right now it's pretty empty. There's not much here because we're not selecting any particular item or object, but you will see that there's various types of menus there, sort of attributes related to them, connections related to the objects and whatnot. Those words may not make sense right now, but they will in the future. So just remember, three main components here. This is where all the files are kept and organized. This is the main workspace area where you actually code, and here will be various menus to help you along in your development projects. Up here are little buttons you can click to hide each of these menus if you want to. The main workspace will never be hid, but if you want to hide the file hierarchy or the submenu hierarchy over here, you can. Also, there's this button here that clicks to show the console, as it's called, which at times you'll definitely want to open, but at times you'll want it closed just to give a little more space. You'll see what the console means more in the next lectures as well. Here you can open up two files at once if you want to by clicking this little double circle. At times that'll be very useful as well. Over here is where you actually run and stop the project when you're running the simulator, which takes me to this next section, which is your simulator list. You can see if you want to simulate your app on iPad or any of the various iPhone sizes, this is where you choose to do that. Typically I run on the iPhone 7 now since it's the newest one, but you can do whatever you like. And last but not least, of course, there's the complete row of menus up on top, some of which you'll rarely use, some of which you'll use all the time, but I suggest you walk through and just kind of see what's in each of these. We'll be using some of them throughout this course. However, one you may want to check immediately is this Xcode Preferences section, which is where you can change how everything looks. For example, if you want it to turn black, if you want your workspace to be dusk or midnight or low key, whatever it may be. But for the purpose of these videos, I'm just going to keep it in the basic section. I think it's probably easier to read as you're watching these videos, but hey, it's up to you. Whatever you'd like to use, go ahead and do that. So yes, there's a lot to learn about Xcode, and it will take you a lot of time, weeks and months, to learn what every little button does or whatever little menu item is for. But at least for the beginning, I've just shown you some of these main chunks and what they mean and what they're for, and that's all you need at this point. So in the next section, we're going to start building out a real app, your very first app. Trust me, it's an extremely simple project, but nonetheless, it will be your first app, and it's a great place to start. So let's go ahead and do that. I will see you in the next lecture.